June 23rd, 2020 special meeting of the Hawthorne City Council is called to order with all members present. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Hadar Awad.
Thank you, Mayor. May y'all please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, can you please read the guidelines for oral communications?
Yes, I may. Pursuant to Government Code Section 5495.54.3, the public shall directly address the legislative body concerning items that have been described in the notice of special meeting.
Mr. City Clerk, can you read you had a comment for this meeting, right?
Yes, I do. I have Ms. Diana Coronado. She's on speakerphone right now, and she's going to make her public comment. Ms. Coronado, are you ready?
Welcome, Ms. Coronado.
Okay,
Welcome.
she's ready. So you have 3 minutes, Miss. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, my comment is on an agendized item. Is that still okay that I move forward?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Diana Coronado. As you heard, I'm here on behalf of the Building Industry Association. For those of you that do not know, the Building Industry Association is a nonprofit trade association representing 1,200 companies with people all affiliated for building housing for all. On behalf of our membership, I would like to support the city's effort to send a letter to the governor on item number 5, asking for a vehicle miles traveled extension. We are asking for this and encourage this because of the many challenges related to cost, ongoing litigation, and the current pandemic. We are not alone in this ask. Many other cities who have even adopted VMT are still sending letters of delay to the governor based on the aforementioned factors. As you know, since COVID-19, there have been many dramatic changes in transportation patterns, such as the expansion of working from home, learning from home, and even receiving medical care from home. There have been significant decreases in public transit ridership as well. Based on its current form, SB 743's vehicle miles traveled regulations do not take these changes into account, which is problematic for many businesses and cities who are in the building process. The requested extension would allow for the informed consideration of VMT and other potential changes to the California Environmental Quality Act affecting municipalities and businesses alike. Additionally, funding for the establishment of a regional VMT program has not been approved, and no work on VMT mitigation fees have been completed by the Southern California Association of Governments for our region. The only thing I'll mention too, lastly, the 200, which is a group focused on stopping the growing racial wealth gap, has filed an injunction against moving forward with VMT because the most vulnerable, marginalized communities are suffering because of this disproportionately. And this belief has been further reinforced by the California legislature. There's been a bipartisan letter sent to the governor to delay the VMT by many folks in the legislature now. So I just want to say thank you for considering sending a letter to delay this to the governor. We certainly appreciate it, and I know that your constituencies do too. And that concludes my comments.
Cool. Thank you, Ms. Coronado.
All right.
Thank you.
Councilmember Valentine, you said you had two communications?
Yes, I have 3 emails which are supporting the position that implementation of VMT should be delayed.
Did you forward those to our city clerk for the record? Have you?
They came from the city clerk's office.
Okay, thank you.
So one was from David Chernick. I'm not going to read them because they all express the same position, that they wish us to, these were saying they wished us to support a 1-year delay, but the principle is the same, that they want to delay the implementation of the vehicle miles traveled requirement. One was from David Chernick, one was from Glenn Pierce, and one was from Mark Ellett. Those are the 3.
Thank you. Are there any more further comments? Okay, if not, I'll declare oral communications closed. So ordered. So do we, okay, so do we have a motion to generate a letter? Councilwoman Valentine, do you want to go ahead and make a quick request of the council?
Yes, I do. I would like to make the motion, but we also have a speaker on that issue.
Thank you.
And so I would like to introduce at this time, Mr. Gerard Wright, the policy manager of BizFed, who is going to speak on delay of implementation of vehicle miles traveled.
All right. Thank you so very much, Councilmember Valentine, Mayor Vargas, and the Honorable City Council of Hawthorne. My name is Gerard Wright, Policy Manager for LA County Business Federation. Just a quick synopsis. We're a grassroots alliance of more than 190 businesses that represent 400,000 employers that employ 3.5 million people in Los Angeles County. And the reason why and I want to thank Councilmember Valentine for bringing this forward in this special session. And I'll be very brief. We've seen what's gone on with the COVID crisis. We have seen what's gone on with what's been going on with health and safety. And I know many other smaller local cities, large and small, have seen this impact and haven't had time to really do the full implementation that's needed in the time frame that the state has been asking for. And what the last speaker, Diana Coronado, beautifully articulated, there are other alternatives in terms of how you can reduce VMT. And this whole pandemic has shown that if we, have folks work from home, telecommuting, telework, that's going to reduce VMT, but it's not part of the conversation that CARB and the other regulators have been looking at. So asking for this delay will actually help bring these conversations to the forefront. And I'm just going to close with that. I want to, again, thank Councilmember Valentine for bringing this forward and just ask for your support in submitting a simple letter to the governor requesting the delay. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to introduce City Manager Arnie Shadbear, who also has a few words to say. Thank you very much, Mr. Wright.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Valentine. Unfortunately, VMT has the ideology behind VMT is to basically for people to abandon their vehicles and start walking or use bicycle for their commute and other activities. With that ideology in mind, VMT basically is going to replace all the engineering practices. Whatever engineers were taught in universities about level of service, delay analysis, and how to manage congestion is all thrown out the window. VMT completely disregard all these principles. So basically, the authors, they say, let's get away with that. Let's do away with traffic study. The focus of VMT is that greenhouse gas emission should not be increased. And therefore, just to give you a very simple example to understand what it is about, let's consider Hawthorne Plaza is going to be developed. What VMT says is that let's go and consider vehicle mile travel over a large extended area of South Bay. And if vehicle mile travel based on average daily traffic over a large extended area is not going to be changed, let's say the same shoppers that were going to Del Amo Mall or going to Galleria are coming also on a prorated ratio to Hawthorne Plaza for shopping. So the overall vehicle mile travel and therefore greenhouse gas emission remains the same. Therefore, there is no impact, as simple as that. So CEQA, even if that new shopping center is going to generate, for example, several thousand trips per day, CEQA should completely ignore it. Who cares about congestion? Congestion is a good thing because it forces people to abandon their vehicles. And therefore, who cares about local traffic? In the past, the way we used to practice engineering, we focused on our local traffic. We focused on intersection widening. We focused on impact to surrounding circulations elements in our city. So now we just have to completely ignore them, and therefore no mitigation would be necessary. So there are multiple aspects of these. For example, in the suburban areas, it is going to penalize suburban development because it drastically increases VMT, and therefore suburban areas, they cannot be developed. So there are multiple aspects. I only focused on our city in Hawthorne, that how it can impact us. Therefore, we request a 2-year extension respectfully from governor's office, so we can have enough time to develop procedures that how we can, at the same time that we like to meet VMT objectives, we can develop the standards and practices for our own city to be able to somehow mitigate development impacts. Not to mention that level of service analysis, delay analysis, and congestion management is backbone of development impact fee. So now we have to go and also come up with new procedures on how we can calculate impact fee to the traffic element. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have made the motion, and Mr. Mayor, would you proceed?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please. Oh, can you read it? I don't think, can you read it, Mr. City Clerk?
Yeah. Send a letter to Governor Newsom and California legislator requesting a 2-year delay in the implementation of SB 743 vehicle miles traveled.
Okay, roll call, please.
Okay. Councilmember Awad,
Yes.
Councilmember Montero,
Yes.
Councilmember Tayeda,
Yes.
Councilmember Valentine,
Yes.
and Mayor Vargas.
Yes.
The vote reflects mayor and council members voting yes.
Is there anything further from council members or staff on this specific item? If not, I'll declare this meeting adjourned. So right before I hit the gavel, we're gonna let the residents know that it'll take about 2, 3, 4 minutes of small delay so that we can change over our cable system so that we can capture the second meeting. This meeting is adjourned.